everybody. Mr. Strauss here. We're here to do a little bit more basic review. Let's begin. So what we need to review today, we're going to take the musical alphabet and we're going to show you how it helps us with ledger lines. We're going to review multi-bar rests, ties, and slurs. So the musical alphabet, as we remember yesterday, goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, or backwards, it goes A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, and you can do that forever and forever. Many of your band directors have probably made you do it, but we haven't always connected it, or maybe we've forgotten why. So when we go back, we're going to start with bass clef because I'm a bassoonist, and you know what? We always start with treble clef. We're going to start with bass clef today because, with the big instruments and the low instruments, go big or go home, right? So here we go. With our bass clef instruments, if we remember when we were young and in beginning band, our teachers said, good, boys, do fine, always, and all cows eat grass. And we all remember good burritos don't fall apart, which I don't know, that looks like a good burrito. Don't judge. We're not here to discuss burritos, I guess. But we also have our cool cow. But what happens when we need to go farther above and farther below? Well, let's take a look at it this way. So G, then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A, all the way up the staff. We can go farther to above the staff to musical alphabet. We could go to B, and we can go to below to F. Okay, but what happens when we need to go above? Let's take a look here. We have A. B is that area above. Then we add this thing here called a ledger line. And we're going to just put a note right there, which is our C. We add a ledger line again. And look, that made a new space for a D. And then we do 2 ledger lines to make an E, 2 more ledger lines, and then we have an F. And this can go
to infinity and beyond.
Now, for our tuba player friends, we need to go below. So we go backwards through the musical alphabet. So G, then F, add a ledger line, E, add a ledger line, D, add 2 ledger lines, because notice we went line, then a space again, and then a line, which is our C. And then we're going to add 2 more ledger lines, and we're going to put this note right there in that space. And you can do that forever and ever going down. So for our treble clef friends, let's do this again. So we have E, G, B, D, and F. And then we also have F, A, C, and E. So every good does fine on the line. Sorry, I guess my face is in the way of that. And then we have faces and spaces. Yep. So now let's try that with musical alphabet. So we have an E, and then F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and F. That's going to make our musical alphabet. We can go one above to the space above, because believe it or not, right above the F, that whole area is a space for a G. And right below the E is that D, which is a space as well. So let's do this for going above with ledger lines with treble clef instruments. Flute players, this is where you live. So we have F, G, add a ledger line, A, add a ledger line. We're going to put this in the space for a B. Add 2 ledger lines, and on that line we have a C. Those 2 again, but we're going to put it right in that space at the top, and we get a D. And you can go higher and higher and higher. Believe it or not, on a flute, there's probably about 8 or 9 more notes for you to play. Okay, Now, going below, this is our bass clarinet land, our clarinet land. This is where you live, French horns as well. So we go to E. That space below is a D, because remember, even though there's nothing there, it's still a space. Add a line, and we have C. Add another line, and that space below that line is the B. Add 2 lines now, and we have an A, and then G. And that again goes on to infinity. So let's do a little bit of practice, because this is going to be something that's going to happen. And this is like a clarinet example, but we can apply this to any instrument. So you're probably going to get a note that looks like that if you're a clarinet player. And it's not that you don't know the note, it's that it's an unfamiliar note. And so we have to figure out, what is that note? Well, this is how we use the musical alphabet. You know that that is an E. Okay, you know that the sun is going to come out in the morning and your bottom line is going to be an E. Now we're going to use the musical alphabet to count up. So we have E, F, G, A, B, and then the next one, you guessed it, all the way over there is a C. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for like one of our tuba player friends, because this is probably going to happen. You've probably seen the note, but you never know. You might have forgotten. So here we go. We know that our bottom line is a G. So we're just going to keep on going down or backwards. So F, a line for an E, and then the space below that line is a D. We have a C. We have a B. Yeah, you can still see it. Good. And then we have that A right over here. There we go. We figured it out. Our final couple things are going to be just some other little things that you're going to see in your music. The first one is a tie. The tie will take 2 notes and add the value together. So we have 1 quarter note on the left and 1 quarter note on the right. Each one of them gets 1 beat. So 1 plus 1 means that you're going to play that for 2 counts. Okay, that means you're going to tongue here at the beginning and then play all the way through. I always like telling my students that when you see lines underneath the notes like that, I always say tongue the first one and don't tongue until the line is done. That's probably the easiest thing to remember. The next one we have is a slur. A slur connects 2 or more notes. So you can actually see like 4 or 5 notes underneath a slur. So again, here we're going to tongue this first note and then not tongue until we get to the next note that isn't underneath the slur. So side by side, that's what they look like. Notice that you can see these are both on the same space, and so they're the same note, and they are tied together. These are on different notes, and so they are slurred together. In both cases, you tongue here and then you don't tongue until the end. You would tongue here and you don't tongue until we get to the next note in the next measure. So let's practice. Number 1. Yep, that would be a slur. Number 2. That's it. That's a tie. Now, chances are this is probably going to be the way that you're going to see a tie most of the time. It's because a note needs to be longer, but we've run out of counts in a measure. And so the tie makes the note longer into the next measure. Number 3. Yep, it's a slur. And number 4 is a slur as well. Pro tip. The question is this a tie or slur? Notice we have B or D natural, depending if you're in bass or treble, going to a B or D flat. Think about it. A tie, the note is the same. In a slur, they're different. Let's see. That's it. If you said slur, you would be right. Multi-bar rests. This is just an easy way to condense many bars. So if it was in 4/4 time, you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. If you were in 3/4, you'd count 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. It's just an easy way to make sure that you don't make mistakes. Here we go. Quick review from yesterday. What type of note? How many counts? You got it. What type of note? How many counts? You got it. What type of note? How many counts? You got it. How many counts? What type of note? There you go. And that is all for today, my friends.
This content is brought to you by To Practice. Are you struggling playing your band music? You might need To Practice.